kind of stated. And the thought is that he'll fight Owens, and then chances are he'll probably just win that, because I can't imagine them having Owens beat Goldberg at Fastlane.
That is absolutely atrocious, god-awful booking. Goldberg couldn't even make it to the ring in the Royal Rumble, and you're going to put him in a match with Kevin Owens? Kevin Owens is a heavy-set, jolly fellow who can go for 30, 40 minutes. So I have heartburn just thinking about this. Next is a match I actually watched twice. I gave this match I watched this match the first time, and then I went back and watched the second time because I felt bad. I didn't give it its due. So Neville versus Rich Swann for the WWE Cruiserweight title. Neville, the self-proclaimed king of the Cruiserweights, is now the actual king of the Cruiserweights. He defeated Rich Swann. I think Rich Swann ran his course as the Cruiserweight champion, and they have no idea whatsoever what they're doing with the Cruiserweight title, and putting it on an established guy like Neville, who is red hot right now and one of the best things on Raw, was the best thing to do. They had a really good match. These guys, they were very, very physical. The style was fast-paced, and they got time, and they were able to tell a really good story. So Neville's the right thing to do, and Rich Swann can do something right now. He could maybe join the New Day.
Wow. So I agree with you that Neville should be the champion. It's unfortunate that they have done such a poor job with the Cruiserweight title, right, as far as where they've done it, right? So they introduced it with TJ Perkins when he won the Cruiserweight Classic.
White hot that kid was. He was hot.
And then he promptly dropped it to Brian Kendrick, who then promptly dropped it to Switch Swan, who's now dropped it to Neville. None of those previous guys really had any heat on Raw. Neville seems to at least have something going for him, so I hope he gets to keep it for a little while they try to build up another contender for him that could take it from him to stabilize it. The match seemed like it was okay. It's hard to judge, I guess, because the crowd just seems so dead.
Yes.
So they could have had a really good match, and I just don't really. It just kind of loses a little luster because of that. So I may need to go rewatch it back myself.
Yeah, that's
to see.
Really why I did it. It's tough to follow Owens and Reigns in in almost 30 minutes. They're not in a very enviable spot, I would say.
Yeah, that's true. And like we said, the booking of the Cruiserweights has left a lot to be desired, in the sense that I don't know that it was a match that people, if the booking leading up to it or the feud had been well done, then maybe the match would have had a little more heat to it. I don't know that it's necessarily Neville or Rich Swann's fault that it didn't have heat. I think they're doing the best they can with what they're given. But
yeah, I think you make a great point. I think it's not because they had a bad match; it's because nobody was made to care about them. That was the reason for it. So, I want you to take the lead on this match. Take the lead on the John Cena AJ Styles WWE Championship.
Well, these guys have wrestled a few times before, right? Late at the end of 2016, between summers, I guess maybe in the summer of 2016 to the second half of it, and every match they've had has been very, very good. So this one, no exception, right? They went about 25 minutes. They hit each other with several finishers, a lot of crazy moves, counters, reversals, all that type of stuff that a lot of AJ Styles matches have in it, these days. So. But they both worked really hard and put together a really good match. So Cena ended up winning the title, which is not, I think, what we had predicted would happen. I kind of hoping maybe it wouldn't happen. So he won the championship. It was his 16th championship. They didn't really make a huge deal out of it on the broadcast or leading up to it until it actually happened. I had read that they had flown in Ric Flair with the intent of having him come out and do a segment with Cena, maybe presenting him the title after he won the 16th, but they decided to nix that idea, and they just took a photo, I think, backstage instead.
Nice backup plan, huh?
So that is what it is. Again, given the rumors of what's supposed to happen with the WWE Championship between now and WrestleMania, and with Elimination Chamber coming up in 2 weeks, if Cena doesn't can hold on to it past then, which I suspect that he won't, I don't necessarily know why they felt the need to do a title switch here, and especially to give him what they considered to be a record-tying championship victory.
Wouldn't you just give that to him at WrestleMania to really, to soak in the moment, to assimilate himself with the likes of Ric Flair? Yeah, it makes a lot more sense to me than. Although I would probably complain that they gave Cena the title at WrestleMania, but at least you're going to make a big deal out of it. That's a momentous occasion, even though the belts change hands quicker than anything right now. But still, you think they would, at least mention it going into the match, which they very, very rarely did. So I don't know. Yeah,
so that's the part I guess it's a little confusing.
Backseat booking. That's what I'm going to call it. Backseat booking. That's what I do.
There you go. So yeah, but other than that, the match itself was really good. I think they haven't had a bad match yet. So it was a really good match. So I can't complain about that. I wasn't a fan of the outcome and maybe some of the direction that they're going with these guys for WrestleMania.
This is where the show really, I guess, gave me more questions than it did answers. I thought it was a really good match too. John Cena hit a vicious code red on AJ, and AJ Styles, sold it like he got shot out of a cannon. So they had a lot of really good moves. I can't really jive with Cena's offense, and I think that's one of the major sticking points in his matches for me. I have a lot of trouble buying into the attitude adjustment as a finisher from the top rope, from the bottom rope. I don't give a poop where he does it from. I can't get behind that, and that's kind of why I don't necessarily love this match as much as some other people do. I did like the counters. They had a lot of cool counters from the submissions, and John Cena seemed to almost wrestle like a little bit of a different style. It was very fluid. He wasn't as robotic as he comes off a lot of the time. And these two, they did have a really good match, and a lot of head shaking going on.
Oh, no, that's in reference to these text messages I'm receiving as we're doing the show. So please disregard that.
I'm sorry. I thought you were disagreeing with my... And this match really... let's talk about the Royal Rumble. So then, the Royal Rumble was next. We had a lot of predictions, you and I. We had some special guest predictions that any of our predictions probably would have been better than the 8 missing guys that really showed up. A very questionable start in Big Cass. A Big Cass coming out number 1. I didn't see that coming. Usually they have they have a guy like Rick Martel or a guy like Jericho or somebody like that that's going to be in there for a while, and you're going to buy into it. But Big Cass, I really didn't. I didn't see him being that surprise number 1, and then only have Enzo come out 23 or 24 numbers later as one of the 8 mystery people was very disappointing. But aside from that, what did you like about this Rumble? Let's start there before we get negative.
Well, they did have Jericho, I think, 2, right? So he did start. He ended up lasting almost the whole way.
He lasted the whole way, but all he did was take finishers. He just took bumps and laid in the corner,
He did get a lot of rest spots, I guess.
Which I hear you because you're almost 50, so I have no problem with that. I just feel like if you put somebody like Ziggler in there, or somebody else to make it a little more interesting, buy in a little bit more. But I'm sorry, continue.
As far as things that were good, the way that they, presented Strowman in the match, I thought was pretty good, right? I think everyone expected that he was going to get a lot of get a lot of eliminations during it. I think he had 7. So the idea was to try to continue to make him look like a monster, which I think that they did. He ended up being eliminated by Baron Corbin, who's a similar type character, I guess, on Smackdown in the sense that they're trying to present him as like a big man type monster. Not exactly the same, but close enough, I guess, where you feel like at least he wasn't eliminated off of like a joke or something like that. So
they had that face off in Survivor Series, right? Corbin and Braun Strowman.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
So I thought that was good. I thought, it was good that they paid off the whole Dillinger at number 10 thing. A lot of people were anticipating that, so it was nice that they just went ahead and did it. He wasn't in the match for a terribly long time, but he got some of his stuff in, and the crowd was really into it. So that was a nice thing to do. They kind of backloaded, right? A lot of guys in the final 10.
They had really nobody in there up until 21, 22.
Yeah, so I think that was when like the Wyatt, Orton started coming out, and then they brought out the Lesnar, Goldberg, Undertaker, kind of stretch. So the last 10 guys had a lot of star power in it, and they saved a lot of that for the end. Which
I think you had to. Sorry, they had to because these guys are not, everyday performers. So you weren't going to expect Lesnar to go 10, 15 eliminations. Goldberg barely made it to the ring, let alone hit a move on anybody. But actually, no, he crushed Sami Zayn with a jackhammer.
Yeah,
and I think BK brought it up. It's probably because Sami Zayn was the only guy in the ring that weighs under 205. Was able to get him up easily. But
yeah, so that was fine. It did make for a pretty exciting closing stretch, I guess, even though there was a dull part in the middle with a lot of those guys, kind of like you mentioned, that were kind of coming out.
Jack Gallagher with his stupid umbrella.
Yeah. So there was some of that junk.
That
and then
sucked.
The number 30 thing.
Here we go.
I don't know what the expectation was there for who was going to be number 30. I think we were hoping it might be some sort of a surprise guy that maybe was debuting, so somebody like a Samoa Joe.
Number 30, Samoa Joe? Finn Balor? Eli Drake? Anybody else? No. Once the music hit. Roman. If you get a chance, go online. There's something that's like it was fan reactions to Roman Reigns at number 30. Did you see that?
I heard about it. I did not watch the video.
It's like a 3-minute highlight of just people like recording themselves or being recorded as Roman Reigns comes out at number 30. It is awesome. Some people reacted like me. I laughed. I laughed profusely. Some people were just so mad. One guy broke his TV. I was like, tell me how you really feel, man. I love it. And Vince McMahon is laughing all the way to the bank, man. I tell you, he really is. Before we actually get to Roman, what was when Lesnar got eliminated by Goldberg in a minute 30. I remember, you and BK were like, what's the payoff? Where are they going with this feud?
Yeah, I think, I was thinking they were going to go the other way with it, right? And have like Lesnar eliminate Goldberg, and then they would have to fight again. Kind of make that the reason why they would face each other again, because you're trying to figure, okay, well, why would they need to wrestle again, right? Other than maybe Lesnar wants to get revenge, so you figure they'd do something along those lines. But instead, they went the other way and had Goldberg get the better of Lesnar again, and then we can jump around a little bit, but then on Raw, when on the next night, they kind of basically came out and said that, like Lesnar and Heyman, that is, said that they wanted Goldberg one more time, and that Goldberg has his number and he wants to for the sake of his legacy or whatever, that he would get a shot. So I think that's how they're trying to get to that. You would hope that that's going to build to Lesnar finally beating him. That's kind of the whole point. But
or is it too predictable that they're going to leave it on Goldberg?
I don't know. Because I don't know that Goldberg what his situation is as far as his contract. Right? Obviously, that stuff can be changed. As far as I know, he's only really signed to do appearances and matches up to WrestleMania and maybe the night after. So I would think that means that unless they extend him or he continues to work a schedule or some sort of schedule with them, he's not going to be the champion after WrestleMania. But obviously that all can change. I would like to think that they wouldn't just destroy Lesnar in that capacity from all they've built him up as, to have him get crushed by Goldberg, eliminated by Goldberg, and then defeated by Goldberg again, a guy who's like 50 years old. And
beaten by Goldberg. Yeah, so that would be 4 in a row. That would be awesome. That would just be so ridiculous. But so long story short, the last 3 in the ring were Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, and Randy Orton. We kind of knew the betting favorite going in was going to be Randy Orton. With the monkey wrench of Roman Reigns at number 30, I think we both thought, God no, no God, no God, no God. And sure enough, they went with Randy Orton after Roman eliminated Bray Wyatt. So Randy Orton wins, and he gets a title shot against, air quotes, John Cena, air quotes, at WrestleMania. What did you think, buddy? I want you to give me your honest review of this show.
Well, from a match quality standpoint, I thought most of it was either solid to very good. Yep. We just kind of went through all of it, so I won't rehash. But the Rumble itself was watchable. It was pretty good. It wasn't like one of the best ones they've ever had, but it was pretty solid. There was some mystery there and some things going on. So the only thing I didn't necessarily like about it was some of the choices on the winners and I guess the booking. that's not uncommon at this point for me, or I
Right.
think for a lot of people. So like